Prioritizing yourself. Oh, this is a topic we could be here for days over. It's also a topic that we could talk a lot about, but until you actually find yourself in a situation where you recognize where you're not prioritizing yourself and where you need to and how you're going to do that, it doesn't really make sense. Or it sits there as a nice little concept in a sort of fluffy sense, but we don't actually make changes. And what it really means, because it often comes up in situations with other people, what it really means, and this is going to sound very hard, but I'm going to say it like this anyway and then explain it. It's like throwing someone else under the bus to save yourself. Let me explain. So when we are often, where we need to prioritize ourselves is often in situations involving other people. And usually in that scenario, we might have to choose ourselves over them. And this is something that people struggle with. And this is something that still gets frowned upon in society. You know, people are always revered for being martyrs. They are revered for how good they are in the community, etc., etc. And all of that is worthwhile, obviously, you know. But if you can't look after yourself first, if you can't prioritize yourself first, you are no good to anyone else. Think about the aeroplane example. I always like to use this one. In an aeroplane, they tell you to put your oxygen mask on first. Prioritizing yourself over your own children, because if you are not full of oxygen, you can't help anyone else. And it's the same in life. And still, I see in other people the traits of not doing that and the consequences of not doing that. And still in myself, I'm learning the depths of that and the consequences of not doing that. And this choice of prioritizing ourselves is not going to win you brownie points with other people. Often you will be, not often, sometimes we are judged, especially if the prioritizing is pushing the other person out, because we need to look after ourselves first. And so the other person who is not benefiting is not going to be happy about it and not support your option. That to me is fairly logical. It's not rocket science. So when we make these choices to prioritize ourselves, it has to come from somewhere deep within us, because we won't always get a lot of support from around us to do that, especially if that's where we're trying to do the prioritizing. So we have to get really clear on what that means for us, what it looks like in the world, and how we're going to go about doing that. And obviously that is a very individual thing for each person. I like to tune into how I'm feeling, and the indicators for me are high stress levels as well. If I'm in a situation and I start to feel anxious, strained, distressed, I know I've got to do something differently. And I cannot ignore that. And if I ignore that, it becomes physical, it becomes a health issue. And this is how our systems tell us you're out of alignment. You know, we can look at the out of alignment thing from a spiritual perspective, and there are probably science experiments, lots of science around that. Or we can just actually listen and tune in and listen to the messages and the signs and go, this is my system telling me I'm out of alignment. It's a real thing. It's a physical thing. It's not a spiritual concept. It's actually a thing. Because if you're out of alignment, it's going to show up everywhere in your space. And if we don't listen, the messages just get louder. They usually come in the form of health issues. They start small and then they become something very, very serious. And this is what I had to learn when I had cancer. So when I had the recognition of all of this, I was at what I call fever pitch level. I had been given 6 months to live with cancer when I started to go, oh shit, excuse my language. I need to, what am I doing? What am I doing in life? I'm not looking after myself. I'm not doing what I want. I got to change that. And I got to do it now because my survival is on the line. So I don't want you guys to get to that level before you realize you're not looking after yourselves. You're not prioritizing yourselves. So this is the warning. But seriously, it is a very important concept to understand and embody. So take a look at how that's working for you. Really tune into the messages coming through your body about what you might need to change, where and when, and then go take that action. If you are struggling, I work one-to-one with women, helping them with all of this, helping them with prioritizing themselves, with really feeling their own light first, so that they can then go out into the world and help others. Have a good day.